Now, I have one other thing I want to get to. And I'm not going to, I will tell you right now, I will not go into spoiler territory. But if you looked at the thumbnail of the episode and you looked at the person in the center of the thumbnail, you might go to yourself, that doesn't look like an athlete. Wait, I think I recognize that guy. For those who are unaware, and in fairness, like it took me a little bit of time to kind of get on board with the idea. There was a Dexter prequel. Now, if you watched Dexter back in the day, you know it was a damn good show. I still contend that the Trinity Killer season was the best one. I think that, bar none, was the best season of that show. And then they did a prequel. No, they did a sequel years later, which I won't go into for spoilery reasons, even though I think that came out like a year or two ago. They did a sequel to the original series, which I thought was good, and then had like a complicated ending that was maybe as bad or worse than the finale of the original show. Fine. They did a prequel, which I didn't want to watch, but then it was actually fantastic. I really did like the Dexter prequel, Original Sin. That was great. They released another sequel. So it's a sequel to the sequel. So there was Dexter New Blood, and now there's Dexter Resurrection, which is the sequel to Dexter New Blood, which was the sequel to Dexter. Did I make sense? Dexter Original Sin, Dexter New Blood, Dexter Resurrection. Okay. So Lithgow, by the way, Kevin says, was a great villain. He was fantastic. I will tell you, I mean, if you saw the trailer, you would know this. He makes a cameo appearance in the first episode of this season. They kind of take it down memory lane for people from the original series, which was really interesting. They also used a child actor from the prequel, from Original Sin, which I thought was a really nice touch to kind of pull everything back together. I have only seen one episode. 2 episodes are on Paramount Plus right now. If you were a fan of the original series, but you didn't like the initial sequel, New Blood, this I think was already better than New Blood. The first episode is great. Now, there is a nostalgia factor because you're bringing back some actors from different sorts of sequences. Again, not going to go into spoiler territory, even though the original Dexter show ended a very long time ago. There are people from Dexter's past who are no longer among the living, we'll say, who kind of visit him in a very interesting sequence to start the sequel to the sequel. But I watched the first episode and I got all the feels of the original show. Now, the second episode is out, and the reason that I bring this up is because I find this part fascinating. Oftentimes, right? Think about streaming. Think about the way that streaming still makes its way out into the world, right? If you're watching something on Netflix, a lot of times on Prime, Apple TV Plus, all that, you get the full season. There have been shows that I've seen on Prime, like Clarkson's Farm, great show with Jeremy Clarkson, running a farm. It's awesome. They'll release like half the season, and then the last 4 episodes they'll do like weekly, or they'll drop 2 episodes one week and then the final 2 episodes the next week. So it's kind of like a delayed gratification. Dexter is interesting because unlike an HBO Max where like The Gilded Age, for example, goes week to week, or House of the Dragon goes week to week, just like on TV, and they air at the same time, this Dexter sequel to the sequel, Dexter Resurrection, it's not actually airing on Showtime until Sunday. But they dropped the first 2 episodes of the show on streaming on Paramount Plus on Thursday night, Friday morning at midnight. So you have this like 2-episode drop that's happening days ahead of the first episode hitting hitting Showtime. And if I read it correctly, it looks like episode 2 isn't going to air on Showtime until next week. So there's going to be like a delayed rollout. But I found it fascinating. It's a really interesting idea to roll out a couple episodes on streaming a few days before your regular like cable viewer watches it. And I want to know in the comments, do you think it's a smart tactic? See, I can make sense of it, right? Like if you're the owners of Paramount Plus and you're trying to figure out ways to draw in new subscribers, the mere idea that like, oh, this show that has a ton of fans, it's a sequel, we're going to give you 2 episodes, and we're going to give you those 2 episodes days before everybody else gets to watch it on Showtime, on cable, or their favorite streaming provider. That to me is interesting. Now, I would have much rathered if Paramount Plus had dropped the whole season. That would have been cool. Or if they had figured out a way, if they're going to, what they're clearly trying to do is get you past that 30-day threshold of your trial to get you to become like one of those recurring users who's then going to have to go through the whole process to cancel and maybe forgets. And, 12 months later, you realize, oh, I still have Paramount Plus. Oh, There's stuff leading up to the World Cup. Now I'm interested again. Something like that. I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's a great promotional tactic. But do you think it's stupid? Do you think it's smart? I think it's actually kind of cool.